I made YouTube videos for over a year, nearly daily, and it literally almost killed me. Well, to be fair, it wasn't just making YouTube videos, but I hit rock bottom and I lost everything. My business was failing, my relationship had ended, I had lost my job, and the pandemic hit all at that same time. So I started getting depressed and started even gaining weight. And because of that, I couldn't even make YouTube videos. I was in this state trying to put my life back together for almost over a year, and nothing was happening. I knew that if things were to keep going the way they were, that I probably wouldn't even see my next birthday. I mean, I can't stress to you how hard of a time the last year and a half has been for me. I also knew at the same time that something had to happen, otherwise, I don't know. I really had no idea how I was gonna fix it or what was gonna be done about it. I mean, I felt like all my dreams were being crushed and my life was passing right before my eyes, and I felt powerless over my own life. I felt guilty for leaving my viewers and them having no idea where the heck I had gone. I felt depressed realizing that most of my relationships were fractured. I also felt like a failure because my business was just flat out struggling. Overall, I felt alone and scared in life. I know that a lot of you guys out there that are watching this might have been through the same thing or are probably going through the same thing. Although I felt like I was the only person in the world who could feel such a deep, intimate pain because it was my own struggle. I knew that you guys had also felt something like this, probably at some point in your own lives. If not now, then you might experience it later in life. Finally, after months of struggling, I started to come up with a plan for what I could do. I started going to the gym regularly again. I started making amends to my old friends and even my exes, my old girlfriends. I even picked up a hobby along the way, which is playing piano, something I never thought I would have done. And that's helped me escape, even temporarily, the endless suffering of what I felt was never going to end and just constant stress. And to be honest, I still held this idea in my head that I could get back to the life that I was living and then some. And I quickly realized that that's just not how life works. Some of my friends that I reached out to either didn't even get back to me, or I could just tell that we weren't in the same place that we used to be. When I was at the gym, I had to lower the reps that I was doing on all of the workouts that I was doing and the amount of weight drastically. And that's because I had just gotten complacent for so long that I had to take a big reset. As far as my exes goes, while that felt like a mistake at the time, I'm glad I did it, because now I feel like my side of the street's cleaned up, so to say, and all the negative contributions that I contributed to towards any type of falling out, it doesn't weigh on my conscience nearly as much as it used to. It's a hard pill to swallow, but things aren't the way they used to be, and they're not as good as what they used to be. And I don't think they will ever be the same as what they used to be. At the same time, I felt like this was an opportunity. The opportunity that I was looking for. I was looking for anything. If not a fresh start, at least to not continue living in the misery that I was living in.
If there's something you can take away from this, it's to look at yourself and your own decisions and just to make amends. And if not for anyone else, do it for yourself. And you'll realize that you've been carrying around this weight for so long that you don't need to, and it's only keeping you from going forward.
One thing that's been constant in my life has been the gym and working out. I mean, you guys know that I had lost a lot of weight in my life, and I had started to gain a lot of muscle and strength. And I had gained back some weight and I had lost some muscle. But if we just forget about those superficial things for now, the gym has been at my disposal the whole time. It's always been there for me. So the first thing I started doing was to focus on the thing that had got me success before. And ultimately that was trying to become the most idealized version of myself possible. After peeling back some layers of my own life, I had realized that fundamentally had started with being in control of my body and my own appearance.
So if you've identified with anything that I've talked about so far, then I strongly encourage you to find that one thing that you've been able to keep in your life to help you cope. And it could be anything. It could be anything from the gym or running to walking your dog, playing a piano. I encourage you to peel back your life to find that one thing, that one constant, and start there. Start being consistent with that, start leaning more into that, and see where that takes you.
After realizing that things weren't going to ever be the same, I was almost forced to look at myself and reflect at the things that I had done to cause myself to get in this position in the first place. By doing that, I had realized that I was in denial big time about where I was in life with my friends, with YouTube. While I knew the whole time that I was in control of my own actions, I don't think I realized to the extent how much the consequences of my actions were actually putting me and keeping me in this situation that I was in. One by one, I could see the causality of each of the things that I had done, each of the things that I had said or had lacked to do. Eventually that caught up to me, and unfortunately that all came crumbling down all at once. I knew at that point that I had a decision to make to either continue living in denial, trying to make things the way that they used to be, try to fix my relationships and just try to get things back to the way they were. Or worse yet, I could blame everything on everybody around me and just become this cynical person that watches life go by and can't even get out of their own situation. If I had done those, then really I would have not given myself the opportunity to move forward. But really, I didn't want to watch my 25th birthday come and go like the previous birthdays and have nothing change. I decided to change my entire life, and I mean everything.
Here's a question for you to see if you're in denial. What have you desired but have yet to attain? And how long have you desired this? That might just be your brain begging you to make a change, but you continuing to live in denial by rationalizing all the things that you have going on in your life as to why you can't make a change. It really is a scary facade, but equally as rewarding if you're willing to face that denial.
I started to look into investing instead of building a business. I decided to go out and take a leap of faith and move out on my own even though I didn't have a consistent income anymore. I even decided to try to be more social and just meet new people everywhere that I go, try to start more conversations and get to understand the people around me. I did all of this because of two things. The first thing is that I knew that the environment that I was in that had caused me all of these problems, I knew that that was the same sensory stimulus that had gotten me into those problems in the first place. The same people, waking up in the same bed, seeing the same house, seeing the same neighborhood, the same gym, right? The same everything. But I knew that if I was able to extract myself from that environment, then I should be able to have a fresh slate to work from, at least mentally. And the second thing is that I know that I'm 24 and I'm still pretty young in my life, and this is a really big leap of faith. So I knew that if I were to do something like this, and it were to have the worst possible situation, which is crash and burn, and something bad were to happen, that I wouldn't be responsible for anybody else. So I knew that I had to take this opportunity. I just had to. And while I was considering this, the risk to reward ratio was absolutely undeniable. But at the same time, it was equally as terrifying in that old state of mind that I was in. I had no idea what was gonna come. I expected the worst to happen.
Which brings me to my next point. If you don't like where you're at physically or mentally, then you need to pick yourself up by your bootstraps and take that leap of faith. Because if you don't make that change, you're going to decay into someone that you never thought you'd become. And your fear of change is absolutely real, but I just want you to take this time to start fearing who you might become if you don't make that change, if you don't take that leap of faith. After how many years and how many commitments you get yourself into, you might not even be able to make that leap of faith. Rather than having the fear of change, have the fear of not changing.
Hi, come here. Yeah. Oh, you're getting me all dirty. But here I am in my own place. I moved from California to Texas, and to be honest, I feel a lot better. I'm in a new environment, surrounded by brand new people, brand new buildings, brand new everything. We've got a gym down here in my apartment, which I've been going to every day since I moved in. I've been trying to meet as many people as I can to try to build or learn from the past mistakes that I had made in my relationships and build something more genuine, build something that could actually last. Here I am, starting up YouTube again. To be honest, this is a thing I thought about a lot and never thought I would have been able to come back to, knowing that there was a lot of you guys out there who had either long forgotten about who I was or was upset for whatever reason that I had stopped consistently uploading videos. However, I do want this to be the message to you, whoever you are, however many people there are listening to this, that I am gonna be back on YouTube. I'm not sure exactly what my upload schedule is gonna be. I plan on making one video a week, maybe once every 2 weeks, and I plan on dedicating myself to helping other men who are struggling with the same thing that I have, to let you know that you're not alone and see if I can give you any type of advice or guidance to get past where you're at. So really, this is my way of being vulnerable as I can be, to help someone, at least if it's one person, realize that they can make a change in their life because they have control over it, and then go off and do something great. Between you and I, we've been through a lot, and we're going to go through a lot more. I just don't see why we have to go through it alone. But this is my way of taking you on my journey so we can walk it together.